Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Georgetown Eagle Coaches Show. We're live here today on at TXB.
TXB.
It's a brand new spot here for the Coaches Show. Wanting to come on board and support Georgetown Eagle football. And so an awesome opportunity here as we're here tonight, last minute coming out and doing different things here with a new partner in town. Beautiful location back here on the patio. Kelly, you did some legwork yesterday with it, and it happened overnight.
Right, so it's TXB Convenience Mart, brand new store at 1402 Williams Drive. They have graciously signed on as our sponsors for the Coaches Show. We appreciate them. And a little blurb from TXB. We've been in convenience business for a long time. We used to go by Quick Check, but we've rebranded as TXB. Our brand is rooted in and was built upon 3 Texan values: hospitality, integrity, and authenticity. We're proud to support local communities and businesses, which is why we carefully select quality, locally sourced products. Oh, we're famous for our fresh tenders and tacos, which I had the tenders earlier. They're fantastic. And we'll be serving those all day. Come see us and taste what TXB is all about. Again, it's at 1402 Williams Drive. They are handing out some free taco coupons, so it's not too late. Jump in the car, head over here, bring your phone with you, listen to the pregame show or to the coaches show till you get here, and then attend it live here. And it will be here for the remainder of the season, and we thank the folks at TXB for their generosity and support of Georgetown Eagle football.
Awesome little scenery sitting here on the back patio. It's covered, and we're overlooking the wood line behind us, which not far behind it's going to be the Georgetown Country Club.
North San Gabriel River.
Beautiful area. And they haven't been open very long, so it's awesome that
Right.
they're jumping right in to be a sponsor and supporting these boys and these athletes each and every day.
Yeah, one last thing. People think of it as a convenience store. It's so much more. They've got some great food that we talked about, and loitering is allowed and encouraged. So come grab a drink, sit on the beautiful patio, and enjoy TXB. We thank Jonna and the whole crew here for their hospitality. They have been fantastic hosts to this point, and we anticipate and look forward to that partnership for the rest of the season.
Fantastic on top of a fantastic football game on Friday night.
Yes, sir.
We went into Copper Cove, took on another 6A school, and a little fight for the first part. But then, the Eagle offense kind of took over once the defense shut things down, and we end up with a 63-39 score. A good turnaround after a tough loss to Belton at home, and then it leads right into a tough week at home against the Liberty Hill Panthers. But Dave, sitting here thinking about back to Copper Cove, we not only won that game, we went into their house and whooped them. I mean, that was an old-fashioned take you out behind the barn and butt whooping. But you saw it from all facets of the team, offensively, defensively, special teams.
Yeah.
A couple of one onside kick, and then one pitching wedge back.
It was a special teams clinic.
I tell you what.
But, the second and the fourth quarter, I believe, where we really shined. And it was fun to see the offense really open it up and air it out. And seemed like everybody got just some amazing plays.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think we had a shutout in the second quarter and in the fourth quarter.
I believe
and so
yeah.
Copper Cove only scored in the first and the third. They made their adjustments there in the third quarter. And then Coach Griffin and the staff on the fly and these players respond and shut things down in the fourth. And then you just look at it. I think we talked at the end of the game the other night, 7 different players put a touchdown on the board. I mean, you say that at one, if you were to say that every week, that's a lot of points going on the board. But the distribution of the ball, Darson Herman running the ball and passing the ball, Dickman with a couple of touchdowns, Petter scored a touchdown, Moose scored a touchdown, Dominguez scored it. I mean, it just kept passing around.
Don't forget some kid named Griffin.
Oh, that's
scored a
right.
touchdown.
Tucker Griffin dove it in. I tell you, and that's the thing about it, though. That's the kind of game it was.
Right.
You spread it out. You have they had a 3-pronged running attack, and you have to give that to Copper Cove. 3 very good running backs, but then one big stop really kind of flipped that switch in the second half.
Yeah. Well, and we talked about it in the box after the game. I went super football dork and rewatched the game and compiled a few statistics here and there. We had 3 pass attempts in the second half because of running game. We were just running it down Copper Cove's throat. And dance with who brung you.
Right.
And that's the ability to keep the defense off the field and rested. Those Copper Cove defenders had their hands on their hips, breathing hard at the end of that game. They knew they'd been in a dogfight. And I think some of the chances they took were chances to try to keep their offense on the field and give their defense some rest, but it wasn't happening.
I think it's one of the shows I was watching listening to this last week. They were talking about Coach Sark down at Texas, with Alabama, the good offense is if something's working, they just keep hammering it until they stop it. Yeah. And they weren't able to stop anything we threw at them for the most part.
And you look at the stats we have pulled up here, taking a peek at them. Total plays, 60 plays, 537 yards, but the balanced attack. No passing there towards the end. And you had 235 yards of passing, but 302 rushing yards. And it was just divided up as you look at it here. Devin Ross, 2-yard run. Andrew Petter, 3-yard touchdown run. Then Darson Herman, 2-yard touchdown run. Caleb Moose, 32-yard touchdown run. Devin Ross, 9-yard touchdown run. Tucker Griffin, 2-yard. The ball was on the ground, and they couldn't stop it. I love this one stat. I kept scrolling down. Third down efficiency, 7 for 11, 64% for the Eagles, 3 for 10 for Copper's Cove. That speaks well of your defense to get the field, get the offense for the opponent off the field, but then more importantly, get them to the sideline to recover, take a rest, and get rested up. And the offense was giving them that opportunity. The more they ran the ball, burning that clock. But then fourth down efficiency, I thought that kind of funny. We didn't go for it fourth down at all. Apparently, no need when you're winning like that. They were 2 for 3. That one was stopped. That made that momentum shift when A.J. Bradshaw made that, and it was one of the game changer award from coach this week that he was talking about when he recognized the players from that, and A.J. Bradshaw with a game changer, the fourth down stop, and the momentum switched there.
Right.
And that's when things just totally kind of went the way of the Eagles. Fourth quarter, you have 2 touchdowns. You don't let them score. But they had a great running attack. And so that's leading into another week of great running attack.
I was just fixing to say, to be able to stop the run, that's right what we're wanting to get ready for, because we're going to need to stop the run this week.
And you texted our group the other day. I think we all kind of shot messages back and forth.
Yeah.
Liberty Hill on their roster lists 12 running backs.
Right.
And it's funny, though, the roster is really not a big roster.
No.
You look at a 5A Division II school up and coming, that area is just exploding out there.
Right.
And they have a ton of kids, but they don't have a very deep roster in that sense of numbers. But every player listed at 2
everybody's
positions.
running.
Exactly.
Well, when you're running the wing T like Liberty Hill runs, if you can – they're going to get their chunks here and there. They're going to get their yards. They're very disciplined, very technical in what they do, especially on the offensive line and blocking for the running backs and the quarterback. If you can get a couple of those stops and get a lead, Liberty Hill's going to have a hard time coming back. So it's going to be important for Georgetown to protect the football this week. It's going to be important to get that defense off the field as quickly as possible, as many times as possible. And it's going to be a ball control game for Georgetown and keeping that clock running and keeping those purple uniforms on the sideline. I guess they'll be white this week with some gold and some purple trim, but keeping those defensive uniforms on the sideline.
It was that first year we went to state championships up there. We watched Liberty Hill play the other team. I can't remember who it was, but they shut down Liberty Hill's run game, and that was it.
Yeah.
They didn't, because they had only thrown like 6 passes on the entire season by the time they got to Cowboy Stadium.
6 passes on the year.
Right. I believe that's a stat.
Through the playoff run.
So now you think of it, though, as we look forward to Liberty Hill on Friday night. It'll be here at Georgetown ISD Athletic Complex, Birkelbach Field, at 7 p.m. You think this could easily become a shootout, but in 2 running games, it could easily become not a high-scoring shootout.
Right.
Because if both teams are running the ball the way they're capable of and the defenses just can't get in front of it, it could be a very you could say high scoring, but if you're running the clock and the way the ball is going to keep on the ground.
It's going to go real fast. You're going to look up, it's going to be 9:30 and the game's over.
But if you don't, Liberty Hill put 60-plus points on the board last Friday running the football.
Right.
So.
But now, and with that response, though, they did play a Del Valley Cardinal team that is, as it was described, I heard this week, a team that couldn't get out of its own way. They couldn't do anything to kind of get their feet underneath them, and Liberty Hill didn't give them that chance.
Right.
So very important. It's going to be a defensive battle to see who can stop the run, and then set their offense up for success in that. Thoughts on that game at Copper's Cove?
At the beginning of the game, I said I'm glad they have a track around this field because I came for a football game and it turned into a track meet initially. But when the second quarter started, I mentioned during the broadcast that I was interested to see what changes the coaches would make to the defense in the second half. They did it in the second quarter. And they made changes on the fly, which I love to see. Because a lot of times at the high school level, you won't see significant changes to what they're doing on defense until second half, where they can go in and – but I'm done talking about the lack of experience on this Georgetown team.
Right.
Done.
Right.
They have proven themselves.
Yeah.
I have faith they will continue to prove themselves throughout this season. So I'm done talking about the lack of experience and who we lost. No, sir. This Georgetown Eagle football team can make the changes on the fly when they have to. The coaching staff does a great job of doing that, and that was fun to watch.
And that's the Georgetown way.
Right.
Every year, Emily would be like, I don't know what we've got coming back next year. And I'll be like, don't worry, it's going to be fine. Because the kids have been playing this whole time against good competition at their level, and then now they're just seniors. Now they're finishing up, and they're already all of them are great players, balling, and so now we're just finally getting to see them. It's their chance to shine on varsity.
Wait. We've overlooked one thing, and we need to talk about this before
the chicken strips.
I heard those are pretty good.
They're fantastic.
Talk about it. We need to focus on, for a second, our special teams.
Oh, man.
We've got a kicker right now
who
I believe is 9 for 9 or 13 for 13 on extra points. He's perfect on the season. He's had a season-long, career-long 41. Got his first scholarship offer, I believe it was this week, in Carson Sauceda. But then the kicking game. You have the craziest three-pronged kicking attack at the kickoff. Carson had the best onside kick. I think that ball scooted across as Drayden Dickman slid in and fielded it.
Yeah.
And then if you go back and watch, I've watched that highlight multiple times this week. Drayden Dickman slides in and catches it and then pops up right in front of one of the defenders. And it was like it could only be capped off if he'd have just handed him the ball and walked up.
How's it going?
Was so perfect. But then the chip shot later, I believe Kelson King hit it down the near sideline. It hits and checks up like a pitching wedge, and there we are to recover that one. And so the special teams did a great job. You think about it, how many touchdowns we scored, every extra point is good. And then your field goals are good. Those are 3 points that we're becoming automatic at it because of Carson Sauceda.
When we get Coach up here, he stepped out for a couple of minutes, but when we get Coach up here to talk to him, I want to find out what the heck was going on when they came up with that kickoff formation. What was somebody had somebody recently had surgery, and there's some pain management go, what the heck? Who came up with that? Because it's awesome.
But then flip back to
there he
that
is.
Is awesome. We will bring that up.
We were just talking about you.
But then you think about it, like you said, the track meet early on in the ballgame. Drayden Dickman fields the kickoff, returns it 74 yards, which leads to a 3-yard touchdown run for Andrew Petter. And then turn around and we kick it off. And Mr. is number 5 for Copper Scope, returns it 83 yards for a touchdown. And the track meet was in full flight at that point.
I was tired.
It was a tennis match.
And then you look, and Devin Ross got a touchdown. And then they got one more touchdown and cut it to 2 points. And then 2 touchdowns in the second quarter for Georgetown, the separation at half. But I think we had to make sure we gave proper credit to our special teams.
Right.
That is important. We didn't allow any big returns after that. We kicked away from them, but we made the most of the opportunities. And our kick coverage was doing well. And so the special teams will be a part of this as well this week.
Well, and don't forget, whenever Copper's Cove came out after the half, they scored twice before we did. And the guys could have panicked because Copper's Cove had the momentum. They were excited, a little chippiness going on. It looked like there's a little bit of talking going on that football field.
A little bit. But
they had the momentum, but the Eagles shut it down.
Yeah.
And that was good, and then pulled away so that I'm not having heart issues and blood pressure issues at the end of that football game. I can just relax and make jokes.
Let's take a quick timeout. Get Coach Griffin up here with us. We'll talk to him before Kelly has to leave here. Here at TXB. Please join us the rest of the season.
Market.
We will be here every Wednesday night.
Yes.
Now, we will clarify if next Wednesday night, if we're going to have a coach's show or not. I know we have our open bye week next week. Next Friday, we will not have a game, and so we will clarify that. But the rest of the season, we will be here live on the patio at TXB on Williams Drive.
And let me say this. The folks here at TXB have made arrangements. If the weather doesn't allow us to be out here on this beautiful patio, we will be inside the market itself out of the rain in the air conditioning. They've got tons of drinks, coffees, and their coffee is fresh ground. Every cup you make, fresh ground coffee. They've got frozen drinks, tons of stuff. Guys, come see this place.
Yeah.
It is fantastic. I had no idea until I came and talked to the good folks here at TXB. 1402 Williams Drive.
TXB Convenience Market, the host from now on this season for the Georgetown Eagle Coaches Show. We'll take a quick time out. Be back with Coach Griffin. Join us here on SHN. Back here on the Georgetown Eagle Coaches Show. Check. There we go. We don't have audio in our hearing in our headphones yet, but we'll figure it out. So we got Coach Griffin here with us and Kelly DeVoll. Coach, a good week. Your thoughts on the Copper Cove game?
You know, it was great to get out there and get a win.
Sorry.
Wow, that was loud.
Sorry.
Get out there and get a win. I thought our kids played hard. You know, there was a couple of spots in there where it was kind of a back and forth, knockdown, drag-out game for a minute, but our kids just responded well and continued to trust the plan and trust the process and came out with a big win.
That fourth down stop by A.J. Bradshaw was a big stop.
Huge.
The only stop on fourth down. They went 3 times. But that one right there seemed to just flip the switch. After that point, it was all Georgetown.
You know, we came out at half. We had a 16-point lead and kind of thought, all right, man, we're in position. If we'll go down and score and make a stop, we'll put this game away. And we didn't convert on third down. Had a punt. They score. And then they kick a little pooch kick, and we don't get on it, and they do, and score again. So all of a sudden, man, they pull within 2 points, and we're kind of in a little situation. Got to give them the ball back, and we're able to make that fourth down stop and get a score, and then just kind of move on from there. So yeah, it was really big.
So I saw Coach Pat out the other day and talked a little bit to him about it. Making those adjustments in the second quarter in particular, I had said during the broadcast, I'm excited to see what you guys were going to adjust to on defense at the half, but y'all made that adjustment in the second quarter.
Right. You know, that's just something you got to do in coaching, especially this early in the season. You know, we had a film and a scrimmage to work off of, so they obviously didn't have their whole playbook in. So they came out and surprised us with a little special play, pulling a couple extra guys inside and creating some more gaps, and they were hurting us with it. And Coach Pat, Coach Geary, Coach Taylor, Coach Kinchlow, Coach Halm, they jumped on there and made a few adjustments and got out and got it shut down and really shut it down in the second quarter.
But it wasn't a circumstance where you're changing entirely what the defense is doing. Is it just getting the guys tightened up on their assignments?
It's explaining to them what's happening, so they
Right.
kind of know what their key is and where it's going. what they were doing was something we'd not seen. They were zoning on our front side and then pulling 2 guys inside and was creating 3 gaps inside the defensive or the offensive line. And we got to make sure we got somebody filling all those gaps. And it hurt us a little bit there until we kind of got figured out what was going on.
So defense goes 3 and out on the first possession. Offense comes out, drives down, scores. How do you keep the guys from getting too overconfident after one series where it seems like, hey, this is a game we're going to dominate with no problem?
I think, well, one, they scored. I mean, that's one way you do it. We gave up a score. But I think the other thing is a little bit that just shows our youth. Like, we don't have that issue because we have not been in that situation yet. Right. They don't know that that's what to expect. So I think that's a little bit where our youth helps us because they're just not – they don't know that yet. That you can get overconfident. They just keep playing. Yeah.
You look at the running game we had this week. It shows Ross with 108 yards, Darson with 94, 54 for Moose, 44 for Petter. It's distributed. But then I love looking at the long runs. A 26-yard run for Ross, his long. 57 for Darson, 32 for Moose, a 13-yard run for Andrew. The guys are running hard. The running game is clicking so well. But then you turn and look, and Darson's 16 for 22 for 235 yards and 3 TDs. The balance, it seems to be you can stick somebody in that backfield, and they're running the ball well. They're getting the touches on the outside. Petterwood still with 3 catches, 20 yards. And so there's a good mix on the offensive end.
Yep.
Is it making that much more of a challenge to who gets the touches?
No, I mean, really, we tell our guys all the time, as a skill player, you just got to be ready for 1 week. You might have a giant week. The next week you might not have much, depending on what the defense does. When we're drop back to pass, Darson has several options. It's not just one guy he's throwing the ball to. So depending on what the defense does, decides who's going to get the ball. Running the ball, man, we're just fortunate. We got 3 guys that can carry the football, and they're all 3 good. They're all 3 different, which I think makes it a little bit more challenging. And it's great to have that. It's great to have skilled guys that can go and go play.
Talking about 3 different styles, 3 different runners. I saw something out of Moose the other night. Yeah. It's like he planted and cut back, hit the hole.
Yeah.
And he was at the next gear so fast. It was something that I hadn't seen, but that's got to be encouraging when that's the third back that comes in, and then he drops out a 32-yard touchdown run.
Yeah.
And he hit a hole so quick. It's impressive to see. What does that do now against a team like Liberty Hill? Everyone's going to have to be a part of this attack.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, everybody's going to be part of it, and they're going to have to be ready for all 3. They're all a little bit different, like I said, and Moose does a great job understanding our wide zone and reading it and being able to make it cut. He does a really good job of that. And he had a couple of big runs on the night, and both of them were from that.
One of the things offensively and defensively, and I said I was done talking about it, but I guess I'm going to talk about it a little bit more with the lack of experience. There's so much to learn from almost a football academics standpoint for these guys because the defenses are so complex, the offenses are so complex. And it seems like these guys have done a really good job of learning what you're trying to do. Of course, they've been running it since they were in middle school.
Right.
But it's a step up on Friday night.
It's just a lot faster.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything happens a lot quicker on a Friday night. And, no, they do. They've done a good job of that. We call that FBI, football intelligence. And, that's where we're trying to get them to grow and learn. That's something we always talk about. We always teach. We spend a lot of time on that during the week in our meetings or on our board time. Tomorrow morning we'll do something we call Play the Game, and that we put them in different situations throughout the day. And that's all just to help increase their FBI so they kind of know, hey, I know what's happening here. I've been in this situation and know how to handle it.
Been in that situation is totally different coming into this week.
Sure.
Go against a slot T offense by Liberty Hill, probably the most prominent team to run that in Texas. Everyone knows them for it, and they're good at that craft. Switching gears now from a Copper Cove team that ran the ball a lot to a Liberty Hill team that's going to run it no matter what, with a lot of different backs. What do we do here? What's the thoughts this week?
Defensively, it's just an entirely different game plan because it's an entirely different offense, something you don't see. We've been repping every day, even preseason, even Copper Cove week, even Belton week, a period of Liberty Hill, just because it's so unique and so special. we've had a little bit of that every week. And then, of course, we've been concentrating on it heavily this week. So, we've got to change some stuff we do defensively. We can't just line up in a 3-4 and, hey, all right, let's play football, because we can't – what they do, we can't fill every gap that way. So we've got to create some different matchups defensively and get in some different formations and try to control that.
Technique, gap control, prayer.
Yep. Yep. It's something we talked about last week. Mike Rainey is a guy who helps us out. He's kind of our character coach, we call him. He's just a friend of mine and kind of observes the program from the outside and talks to our kids. He's kind of one of our Friday morning speakers, and he talked to him about something. He was a soldier for a large part of his life, so he talks about when the whistle blows, it ought to be coach, call, position, down, distance, key. Like that's what we want rolling through their head. So they know I'm looking at the coach and getting my call. I get the call, I get in my position. I look at the down and distance, and then I see my key. And knowing that, like, that's the repetitive, that's what I got to do. And that's going to be the big thing this week is, man, we got to be sound reading our keys because of what they do is so it's so different. And so we're going to be really good at running our key, working our keys this week.
Liberty Hill is bringing a lot of people with them to this game. That stadium's going to be packed and loud, so we need our Eagle fans to show up.
Absolutely.
And be loud.
Be loud.
Key players to watch for from Liberty Hill.
They're all good. That's excuse me, that's an understatement. But defensively, if I can get my little screen to blow up here, there we go, because I want to make sure I get their names right. But Colin Brandt and Aaron Brewer both do a really good job at playing outside linebacker, safeties type guys. Lloyd Johnson at defensive end, man, he'll get after your tail. He's good. We got to do a good job knowing where those guys are, what they're doing, how they're lining up. And then their quarterback, I'm not even going to try to say his last name, but Will. Their quarterback. I was not going to say that, but Will does a good job of just understanding what's happening. Does a good job up there. So, and then Chase Pogue on the offensive line is probably one of their best offensive linemen. He's a little guy, but, man, he gets after your tail. So we're going to have to be ready for that. That's one thing that will be a challenge for us this week. This will be the most physical team we've played thus far. They're going to line up and hit you in the face, so you got to be ready.
I remember when Bill Walsh introduced the West Coast offenses that came out and how technical they were. Now everybody's seems to be running some form of that spread, wide-open offense. The wing T, although it's kind of a compact formation at the line, there's a lot going on.
Oh, there's a lot. And there's slot T stuff. There's somebody moving everywhere. You got to know where the dive back is, where the quarterback's going, where the motion guy's going, where the option guy's going. I mean, you got to know where they all are every play. So that's been a challenge for us. One of the reasons I wanted to play them, I think they're probably going to be in our district here before too long. And I've only got one coach that's ever coached against that, and that's Coach Patterson. So I wanted to make sure my other guys had an opportunity to coach this before we get in district play.
Coach Pat's been coaching so long, he's probably coached against a wishbone
that's
somewhere.
That's right. Oh, yeah, I'm sure he has. So he might have coached against a single wing. I don't know. But, we had I wanted to make sure we got it on the schedule and could start seeing what it was like, learning how to develop a game plan for that. So we're excited to go play them this week.
Oh, I'm excited for this game to be here. I was hoping to have it last year. You got COVID canceled, but here it is.
You say they're a physical team. How important is it then before we go into district we get our bye week?
Very important. I think that's really important for us just to heal up, have a little bit of time to kind of get ready. Cedar Park is always a big game for us when we put a lot of pressure on, and so that gives us some time to start getting ready and start figuring some things out.
Now, as we go into Friday night, we were talking about it a minute ago before you joined us. I don't want to overlook it because the other night special teams was huge. Mm-hmm. How valuable is it to have a kicker like Carson Saucedo that right now seems to have the goalposts seem to be about 50 yards wide?
Yeah, it's really important. That's a huge part of our game. I mean, he's counted for 16 points on the season, just with his foot, not to mention, we've gotten 2 onside kicks and we've gotten a pooch kick. And so those are 3 possessions we gained too. And if I'm not mistaken, we scored on all 3 possessions. So I think that's really important that we have a guy that can do that.
After week one, you had said, maybe I shouldn't have called that onside kick.
Mm-hmm.
It's brilliant when you recover it, and it's asinine when you don't.
Yeah, sure.
I was glad to see you didn't get away from it this week.
No, we're gonna try to take advantage of that when that's there, and when we've got the opportunity to do that, we feel like part of the deal with our youth is we got to steal possessions. So if we can steal it and get the ball in our hands, that just gives us another opportunity to go score.
So then, how important is it against a team like Liberty Hill coming this week? Is special teams going to play in it?
Oh yeah, for sure. It's probably not going to be a very high scoring game, although we both scored 60 points last week. I think two good football teams doing what they do. One of the things I've prepared our staff for and our kids is, we probably average 12 possessions a game, somewhere in that neighborhood. But we're probably going to get 7 or 8 this week. So they've got to count. Just because of what they do, they're going to run the clock, and we're not going to get near as many possessions as normal.
Well, week one, you guys held Belton under 100 yards rushing.
Mm-hmm.
Week two, Copper's Cove didn't have a lot of success passing the ball. So you're going to have to pick your poison with this Georgetown defense.
Yep.
That's exciting to see.
Yeah, it is.
And I think both the defenses for these teams are not talked a lot about because of what the offenses are doing. But these are going to be two pretty good defenses.
Yeah, I think they are two pretty good defenses. The thing about us is I think both programs are really similar in our type of kid we put on the field. Similar in the type of mentality we have. We got good kids that show up, do what they're supposed to do, be where they're supposed to be, and they play hard. Just kind of a blue-collar, lunch pail mentality, and I think we both have that. So it's going to be really important this week.
Friday night, going to be at home against a tough Liberty Hill team. Players will do a walkthrough of the Booster Club. We set up over there, tailgate. The kids will walk through. You guys will come through. One thing I noticed in my first week of doing this at our first home game against Belton, you guys come through in a different mindset. You came through that night as they all called everyone, hey, the team's coming. Parents drop plates, drinks. Everyone lines up to support these kids. The cheerleading, the Georgettes, people came running over.
Some fajitas burned.
But yeah, lost some of the fajita meat. But the look and the focus, how well is this team doing that for you? Even with the inexperience that we're getting past now, we're getting that experience on Friday nights, that they flip that switch and it's go time.
Well, I think the important thing is that really you can't flip a switch. It has to be a preparation mindset that what gives you confidence is when you're prepared. That's what gives you confidence when you feel like you're really prepared. And so I think it's more about that. It's about what they do during the week. It's about the preparation going into it, and then is the mindset during the day and making sure that they're mentally and physically prepared. So I think it's just more of a culture thing. That's what we want to do because we want to show up and be prepared and put a good product on the field. And I think our kids have responded really well to that.
I did want to mention in passing, Liberty Hill faced some tragedy December last year with the passing of longtime coach there, well-known in the community. Coach Jeff Walker passed away.
Yep.
So we send our condolences to the Liberty Hill community, and those kids are playing hard.
Yeah, absolutely.
In Coach Walker's shadow as he's watching down.
Yeah.
But wanted to mention that and let our friends in Liberty Hill know that they have our condolences. Friday night, it's time to play football. It's going to be a good game, and both teams will honor him by playing hard Friday night.
Yep. Yeah, his brother Kent's done a great job taking over and just continuing what was going on and the legacy that his brother left. And like I said, they're a well-coached football team. They're a well-oiled machine, and they're going to come ready to play.
And now we look towards Friday night. One thing you're going to do special on the helmets. We talked about it. You talked about it at the Booster Club meeting. 9/11, the 20th anniversary, is Saturday. Friday night will be underneath the lights at home. You're putting this a new sticker on the helmet for this game, and then there'll be other stickers that the Booster Club will have for sale with the G, the Georgetown G in a flag pattern. Awesome symbol to see as we remember such a horrific event for our country on 9/11 in 2001. How does that play in for the boys? That it's a big game.
Right.
But sometimes life is bigger than a game.
Sure. I think it just provides us some opportunities to talk about what happened. These guys, they weren't even thought of, at the time when this was happening. So for them to understand a little bit about what it was, what went on, I think that's a pretty cool opportunity for us to talk to them about as an adult. And then just we also want to just pay respect to our servicemen and women who are paying that price daily, and so it's just kind of our way to do that. It's our military appreciation night. It's so it's just a way for us to give a little something back that hey, we know what's going on and we're here and we're honoring that and we want to be a part of it.
And it's those men and women that let us do what we're going to do Friday night.
Absolutely.
And having
Absolutely.
fun, like a bunch of kids.
Yeah, buddy.
Sitting there
Yep.
broadcasting a game while you guys coach a game with these kids playing their hearts out.
Yep.
For nothing more than the entertainment of other people as they compete and learn and grow in life. And so what an awesome opportunity Friday night. Join us live, 7 o'clock kickoff from Burkle Bach Field on the campus of Georgetown High School. The Liberty Hill Panthers in town, a big game as we prep for district play at Cedar Park 2 weeks later. But the team will walk through about 5:30, 5:45.
Yep, about 5:30 or so.
Through the tailgate as they hit the field and get ready to warm up. Come and join us. If you can't, we'll be live on SHN Sports broadcasting the game. We'll have live video and audio of the game. Thanks to Coach Griffin. Welcome. We love having you. You're very welcoming to us and allow us to have fun in doing this. And so we thank you for the time.
Well, appreciate what y'all do.
And so, but thanks especially to TXB, the Convenience Market. Welcome us in and being the host of the Coaches Show. We'll be here in 2 weeks. We're going to take off next week and give the kids a night off as we have an off week to prepare. But we want to thank Coach Griffin for joining us. Take a short break. Be back with more of the Coaches Show here on SHN. Welcome back to the Georgetown Eagle Coaches Show. Myself and Dave England here with senior offensive lineman number 78, Jerry Phillips, 6'6", 265. Got the big old lineman with us tonight. Mr. Phillips, 2 different games. A Belton experience, a tough game, came out with a loss, but then in a game like that at Copper's Cove, a 63-39 win. What's the difference in those two? Is one more fun? Was the tight battle fun, or is the blowout just fun running over people?
I mean, both of them were fun. I mean, both games were coming out thinking that the result is going to happen in both games. You want to come in every game thinking that you're going to blow them out. But the second game was a lot different than the first. After having that first experience of going out there with the crowd and the lights, I mean, it was really surreal. And the second game, you were really able to tune it all out, and you're able to focus on yourself on the field and just go out there and show out.
So you go into the game at Copper's Cove, and you guys, the offensive linemen, created some massive holes. The team rushed for – let's look at this again because I was just in awe of this. The team rushed for 302 yards is what it shows here on the huddle stats. That's a lot of holes being created by you guys up front.
Yes, sir.
In the run blocking and the pass blocking, Darson passed for 235 yards. You guys created quite the space there for your quarterback, but yet the holes for these running backs to go busting through for long runs, like Devin Ross for a 26-yard run, Darson busted for a 57. That comes on you guys back. What's the I guess as you guys come together and mold together as a new line, how is that working? How are you guys coming together?
I mean, personally, we have a really, really great coach at offensive line and Coach Bond. And, I mean, everyone was doubting us at the start of the year this year. I mean, everything I heard about Georgetown, the first thing I heard was the inexperience in the offensive line. And that was one of the things that helped us push ourselves, that no one thinks we're going to go out and do good. And then just to be able to prove everyone wrong in these past 2 games has been a great feeling. 2
teams that were big defensive lines that you guys faced. And there was a lot of dominance. The battle in the trenches against Belton was that. It was a battle, and it was fun to watch. But then this game, as you guys just kept wearing on this Copper's Cove team, the Bulldog defense just got worn down. And we saw it up at the booth. It's just like you saw that breaking point where they were just kind of done getting whooped and busted back off that line. I'm going to take you back to the first practice. Dave and I were there, first practice in pads on that Saturday. And Coach Bond gets up there, puts himself over the ball, and starts yelling out different calls and challenging you guys, hey, that you need to be heard. And he said, I want you to sound like men, fire off on like men, and finish like animals. And that stuck out to us because Coach Bond, he's got those one-liners that he'll put out. But it was so telling to watch what you guys have done. How has Coach Bond, I guess, challenged you in the face of people saying the offensive line is going to be the weakness, but then a coach like Coach Bond to push you to make yourselves better? Is it make it easier? Is it a support system that just continues to push you guys?
Yes, sir. I mean, he's the rock of the offensive line for sure. Great coach of one of my biggest inspirations in life is Coach Bond. But one of his things was communication, and like what you said, if we communicate like men, we're going to play like men. And when you start communicating as a group, everything just makes it simpler because instead of playing as one individual, you're playing as a whole offensive line when we're all communicating.
And now you guys, as you go into a game like this Friday night against Liberty Hill, the challenge is going to be there for this offense to produce, for you guys to put up points against a very strong running team like Liberty Hill. You guys look forward to that? In this week's preparations, is it, hey, one more week of dominating, we got to work?
Yes, sir. 100%. We love the pressure being on us in these situations. I mean, that's what is going to make us great.
Do y'all have a lot of fun after you create those holes for all the running backs? Is it? I saw a clip this last week. There was a running back that was running for the end zone, and he was getting tackled. He turned around and lateraled it to an O-lineman who was running behind him. I don't know if you saw that or not, and he ran it in for the end zone. And I remember last week there was one of the O-linemen that kept running down there. He was in the end zone, high-fiving every time. And I was like, y'all are going to be ready for that lateral if one of your running backs gets into trouble, because I'm sure y'all are hustling Are y'all taught to hustle?
Yes, sir. We're
down
always
there?
taught to go follow the ball after every play, help our guy up after every single play.
Might be some fun opportunities.
Yes, sir. I hope so.
And you know what's funny? You talk about that, Dave.
Yeah.
You watching through the college and pro ranks, even when a Ezekiel Elliott, when Alvin Kamara go and score a touchdown, they turn around, and 9 times out of 10 they turn around and they jump up with a lineman holding them up because they turn back to the guys that just opened that hole that made him successful. He gets the big contract because you guys are busting these holes, and so Devin Ross is running through them. Darson Herman's running through them. The Moose broke through last week on a huge hole.
Yeah.
And we were talking about it. We watched that clip, and he cuts back, and you look, and this hole is unbelievably big.
Yeah.
Pride in that? You guys challenge yourself to try to create that so your running backs don't get touched?
Yes, sir, 100%. I mean, that's our entire job right there, is just to make those holes for the guys just to run through for them giant gains.
Y'all have a nickname for the O-line yet?
No, not yet. We'll work on one.
Kelly likes to call y'all the buffet killers.
Buffet killers.
But you guys, it's been fantastic to watch. The battle of the trenches against Belton was eye-opening in facing these big guys that are experienced in a big 6A school like Belton, and the battle was fun to watch and a good one, a good experience for you guys. But then to go and compound on that with a big win on the road at Copper's Cove, and now the challenge to come back home and kind of have a repeat performance. You guys challenge each other. Is it you? I mean, you're all new at this. Like you said, we're a new line. Nine offensive linemen graduated last year. You guys were talked. Hey, that's going to be the weakness. Watch the O-line; they're not going to be good. And you guys are battling like
next man
unbelievably.
Next man up.
So is it the challenge? Do you need that outside fire? Is it you 5 starters look at each other going, "Hey, it's us against the world"?
That's exactly how we feel. I mean, before the Belton game, we're all talking, and we're like, "This is it right here. We got to prove our name, and we got to make our name for ourselves in this game."
So tonight, Friday night, we face off Liberty Hill. It's going to be a challenge, another game for you guys. Does a battle like the one at Copper's Cove, where we come out victorious and a big win, 63-39, does it make the bruises and the soreness that much easier to handle?
Oh yes, sir, 100%.
I look up and look at you, look at his arms. The old linemen, they get in there and get dirty.
Yep.
I mean, that's their job, but it's got to make it that much more beneficial. Like, okay, I'm beat up, but
good times.
we
good
ran
times.
over them.
Yes, sir.
So this Friday night, Liberty Hill at home.
And shout outs.
I was going to say, any shout out?
I mean, shout out the O-line, shout out our backs, and shout out Matt Arnold.
All right, Matt Arnold. Well, hey, we'll take a quick break. We'll be back with our next player. Thanks for joining us,
Thank you.
Jerry.
Thank you.
Jeremiah, Jerry. I'll get it right.
Yes, sir.
And we'll be back. More Georgetown Eagle Coaches Show on SHN.
Thank y'all.
Back here on the Georgetown Eagle Coaches Show, now joined by senior defensive back number 20, Brady Olsen, 6'1", 185, and a totally different guest from an offensive lineman, the big 6'6", 265. And now the defensive back. Brady, we look towards this game this week, a totally different approach from a team like Liberty Hill. You defensive backs are going to have a different outlook. What is y'all's job going to be this week? Is it going to be more pressure and putting up on the run, or are you going to be singled up on receivers, or –
Honestly, this week we're just trying to fit the run. We got to make sure that everyone does their job, and as long as everyone does their job, we should be fine.
Coming into this season, everyone, and that's what Jerry was talking about as well, the inexperience. Oh, they don't have experience. They don't have this. Is that a challenge on you guys? You got the senior leader in Trent McConnell back there, and you got several seniors on this team. But when people talk about that, is that a challenge to you guys?
I don't think so, honestly. First week, maybe we could have used that as an excuse, but now I don't think we can use that as an excuse anymore. We just got to go out there. We got to play our best, and hopefully we come out with a win.
That game against Copper's Cove, you guys only had to defend 9 passes, and they only completed 3. Speaks volumes about the defensive backfield and the defensive backs, the safeties, not allowing those passes to be completed, but then pushing up on a lot of runs. They like to run, and a lot of times their running backs, Brown and number 5, got through there. So now the defensive backfield's having to make some tackles. Did that help in preparation for this week, where you're going to have a lot of run attempts coming, that you guys are going to have to step up, and make some hits?
100%. Copper's Cove had a really good running core, and I do 100% agree that it's going to help this week. Make sure we fit up with our tackles, wrap up, and take them to the ground. We need 11 hats to the ball every play.
So with Liberty Hill being so run heavy, when they do pass the ball, you've got to be excited about the potential for maybe some accuracy, maybe not being there, and hopefully some pick sixes. What are your thoughts on their passing game?
So in film, we've seen them pass a couple times each game.
Mm-hmm.
We always got to be prepared for it. We ought to read our keys. We ought to know that it's possible that it comes, but when it comes, we have to be ready for it, and I think we will.
Yeah.
Defensive side of the ball. We talked about it at the beginning of the show. Copper's Cove did not score in the second quarter, and they did not score in the fourth quarter. Being on the defensive side of the ball, how much pride does that boast in the defense to know 2 quarters you shut a team out that wanted to run, that were running the ball, but they didn't get any points on you guys in those 2 quarters. You adjusted on the fly. But how big is that for you guys and your confidence that, hey, when we got to make the changes, we make them on the fly, and we're successful at it, and we're building for the next one?
You know, it feels great, honestly, because we have a great coaching staff, and they will make those changes for us, and they will get us in the right spot. And so we just got to trust them and make sure that we're doing what they ask, and that's just how it works.
The senior year is going fast for you guys. I know it does. As I watch my kids go through school, Dave has one in college now. Is it important to enjoy each and every Friday? You guys you're running out of Fridays to have the spotlight and the challenges there as a Georgetown Eagle. You wear a uniform that a lot of kids look up to and want to wear one day, and you've worked your tail off through this program, and now it's your time to shine. How important is it that every Friday night is 100% focus for you guys?
It's significantly important because it's a limited opportunity. You only have a certain amount. We only have 10 guaranteed games and 10 guaranteed Friday nights. Then you just got to go out there, play your best, play your hardest, and leave it all on the field.
Did you grow up here in Georgetown?
I did not. No? I grew up in California, Nevada.
California?
Yes,
how long have you been here in town?
Almost 5 years.
5 years. Cool. There's a lot of kids, like you were saying, that come up and that they're watching. I'm sure you did coming up in the football program, watching.
100%.
Looking forward to varsity. So it's got to be a lot of fun.
It is, yes, sir.
So we look ready for Friday night. Liberty Hill comes in. The challenge is out there for the defense. For you guys, like you said, you got to be ready for that pass. Maybe not be a bunch of them, but it could be key plays and we have that power and that ability in a quarterback like Wally Harmon and the running core that we have. And so it's going to be fun to watch. Friday nights, it's live. It's one more big game before we get ready for then Cedar Park, another big game. What do you guys see this week? What's your goal as a defensive backfield, as a defense as a whole, as you face this big opponent in Liberty Hill?
As a defense as a whole, our biggest game plan is just flying around. Make sure, like I said earlier, you get 11 hats to the ball every play, and we got to wrap up, make the tackle because they're not going to go down easy. Mm-hmm. They're going to keep their feet moving. They got good blockers. We got to play sound football.
Yeah, there's about a dozen listed as running backs on there. I mean, everybody's running. If you play for Liberty Hill, you pretty much have an RB by your name.
So Brady Olsen joins us tonight, a senior defensive back. Brady, any shout-outs before we call it quits here tonight?
Shout out Broden Elliott, Jesse Avila. It's birthdays today.
Oh, all right.
So shout out to them. Shout out to the defense. Shout out offense. And hopefully we can get the dub this week.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us, Brady.
Thanks.
We'll take a quick break. Be back. Wrap up the Coaches Show. You're listening to SHN Sports coverage of the Georgetown Eagle Coaches Show live here at TXB Convenience Market on Williams Drive. Back here on the Georgetown Eagle Coaches Show, about to wrap things up. We're going to punt. No trivia tonight because we got started late, longer conversation with Coach and talking to a couple of the players, and so we'll come back bigger and bolder after the bye week here at TXB Convenience Market. Thankful for such a great host. It's awesome. Reg, as the Booster Club president, Reg McConnell joins us as the president of the Georgetown Eagle Football Booster Club. It's awesome to see businesses like TXB knocking down the door that want to be a part of this and support this program and these boys and these student athletes. How important that is that as you guys do the same thing and all that you do to raise money for this program to make it the best out there.
It's great. Jonna, approached me about how they could help, and they're helping a ton. They're going to help with our concession stand, which is great. They're actually going to give us some free items for a couple of weeks and let us test it out. And it's just great to have somebody local that wants to be part of the community, wants to be part of our program. So it's really cool.
The Booster Club having a great year, a successful year, raising funds and doing the best as they support this program. It's such a fun program to be a part of. Just on my small part, watching and calling the games and stuff. Friday night, we have Liberty Hill coming in.
Yes, sir.
I know we do the tailgate. What's on tap this week?
Well, we have some hamburgers and all the trimmings. Start serving around 5 o'clock. We'll be able to hang out a little longer this week because we don't have parent night, so that'll be a good time. So come on out. It's free for all. Just if you feel like giving a donation, that's what we use to help cover our cost for it.
And that's the key part that I'm going to make sure we get out. I didn't know that, and I think that's so awesome.
Yeah.
It's not just for the Booster Club members and the Booster Club families. It's for everybody.
Everybody.
And you guys set up, prepare. I know crew gets there pretty early and starts everything. So at 5 o'clock, and then the team walks through about 5:30, 5:45.
5:45-ish, yes, sir.
And everyone lines up, gets the team through out to the field, and then finishing dining there and enjoying the tailgate as a group and as a community.
Yeah, if you bleed blue, that's where you need to be at 5 o'clock eating a burger with everybody else is wearing the G hat, all that. And just
it's really cool to see those kids walk through, man. That's worth the price of admission, which is free anyway. But even if we charge, it's worth everything. It's priceless. That's why we do what we do.
People want to join the Booster Club. How do they go about that? Who do they need to contact?
They need to contact me or contact any of the board members, Kyle Herman, Jonathan Saucedo, Christy Fisher, either one of the Coopers, Tracy or Michelle Cooper. Just get with us. It's a simple process. You write a check and you're in.
And the meetings, Monday night?
Monday night, I think we're not going to have one in open week.
Okay.
We're going to take a week off, and then we'll pick them back up the following Monday.
So we're going to enjoy a time off after the Liberty Hill game on Friday night. No Booster Club meeting on Monday the 13th.
Mm-hmm.
There's not going to be a coaches show on the 15th, the Friday night, so the boys get a couple of nights off. I know Coach was talking about they had tutorials to do on Tuesday and Thursday, so try to give them a couple of nights, and so an opportunity for everyone to kind of enjoy a week. But then after that, it's madness.
It's go time.
We hit district, and the first game is at home against Cedar Park.
Yeah,
and so
I can't wait.
Tailgate again, and so
can't wait.
But the more people we can get to be a part of it, just the better it makes it.
Absolutely. We still have plenty of opportunity to sign up and help. We're still looking for people to help sell merchandise on Friday nights. Every one of our Booster Club board members is a varsity parent.
Yeah.
So we're not going to ask a board member to sell merchandise on Friday night. We don't want anybody to miss their kids' game. So we definitely need some underclassmen parents to step up and sell that merchandise. We've made close to $6,000 just on merchandise this year. So it's a big part of our fundraising.
It's got to be pretty popular this year. Y'all probably selling a lot more this year.
Thank
goodness, because last year
we didn't sell near as much.
It was pretty light with the attendance.
We just didn't have as much attendance and all of that.
And the other night, I know one of the ladies that's helping spearhead the merchandise said 10 more boxes came in and some more were on the way. Yeah. And so lots of merchandise available. I can't wait because I'm planning to get down there. I'm having to scrap together to get my Georgetown gear as I've joined the family.
Y'all sell merchandise on Thursday nights?
Yes, Thursday nights and Friday nights. Okay. So tomorrow night with the freshmen going on, we'll have the merchandise out there.
Over at the JV?
At the practice field. Yes,
okay. So freshmen will play 5:30 and 7 at home.
Yes, sir.
JV is at Liberty. No. One of the JPs at Liberty Hill. One played last night.
The silver team will be at Liberty Hill.
Okay. And so tonight, two opportunities to come out. One, support the program. The freshmen will be at home, but to support the Booster Club, to help out with the Booster Club, they'll have the concession stands running, merchandise for sale. And so the more, and that's like you were saying, the varsity parents, you're not going to ask on a Friday night to sell the merchandise. Yep. But that's the opportunity for freshmen and JV parents to step up and pay their dues. So then come their kid on varsity, they get to enjoy the game Friday night and pass on.
I can tell you this. I've been around football a long time. I was a coach for 12 years, and our freshman teams this year, they play really good football. I'm telling you, if you have nothing else to do on a Thursday night, come out and watch those freshman teams. They get after it. They do a lot of things right. It's a lot of fun to watch.
Nice.
I've enjoyed it at the Booster Club meetings when the coaches come in and go over the highlights. It's amazing to watch. One, the systematic approach through the whole program, but to see where these freshmen and JV teams are and some of the plays that are being made by these kids as they are. Someone asked last week, what is his classification? Oh, he's just a sophomore. Oh, good.
Yeah.
And yes, that is great.
It's a good brand of football, man, I'm telling you.
It's fun to be a part of.
All the way up.
It may feel weird going to a Booster Club meeting not being a parent, but if you seriously, we've said it many times, but if you're an Eagle fan and you love the Eagle football, go to those meetings. You get to hear a little bit about what's going on with the program. You get last week's highlights, what coach is thinking about for this next week. He's not going to tell you everything, but it's so you kind of get the inside. It's kind of like an insiders club, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's great for Eagle Nation, and then you get to see the facilities there at Georgetown High School, and they're really nice facilities.
And we have some exciting things that we're going to look at buying for the program, so we discuss that kind of stuff too on those nights, and you can be a part, you can vote, and make some of those decisions with us as we go along.
And now we had a vote the other night. You guys had a vote about ATX Bandstand in the Booster Club, and the group went. The yays outweighed the nays, and so the work that Snoop Daniel does, and with all this in the ATX Bandstand, I know Emily was involved with that. Dave's daughter was involved with that a couple of years, and now one of the Herman daughters, and I believe it's Emily Solomon, is doing it. And these kids, they work hard. But they have a blast doing it, and the recognition and the amount of exposure that's out there on all of the connections that are out there with the Horn FM and Snoop Daniel and the ATX Bandstand, and the impressions out on social media is just amazing for these kids.
It's a huge deal for the players too. They really love to watch the mixtapes, and when they get the opportunity to be interviewed afterwards, that's a really cool deal too.
And just a little information about what Miss Solomon's doing. She's doing all of that. She's calling in to the show, FLX. They have a broadcast every Friday night. So she's calling in with information about how the game's going. She has a recap at the end of the game. And then her night's not done. She might get to go to Whataburger, but she's got to come home, probably going to stay up for a couple of hours, going through all the film and deciding which clips she's going to submit and put together. And between her and Snoop, they put together this mixtape. So there's a lot of work that she does on a volunteer basis. So big shout out to her.
That's awesome.
I watched Emily go through it for 3 years, and that's a lot of dedication. And
huge commitment and very, very little return.
I guarantee she's one of the biggest fans of this football program right now. And she could tell you anything you need to know about, Georgetown football. Because she's been around it for a while. Her older brother played football here at Georgetown. So.
That's awesome.
And so it's awesome to watch, and the Butcher Clubs does many things like that, and up and beyond. I know we're doing, you guys are doing some remodeling the locker room, helping out with that this over the winter after football season, and so just a lot of work goes into it, and it's invaluable to these kids and the experience they get into a program that's this established and that's this loved and this built from the ground up.
Very few like it, that's for sure.
So thanks again, Brad, for joining us, the president of the Booster Club. We're going to take a quick time out, be back, wrap it up, and finish this thing out. You're listening to the Georgetown Eagle Coaches Show live from TXB Convenience Market on Williams Drive here in Georgetown on SHN. Back here on the Georgetown Eagle Coaches Show, live from TXB Convenience Market on Williams Drive, proud sponsors of the Georgetown Eagle Coaches Show. And, man, things happened last night, Dave.
Yeah.
Kelly came by, and all of a sudden we get a text last night. You tweeted it out, and it started spreading. TXB Convenience Market right here on Williams Drive, wanting to be a part of this.
You know, it's cool. This is a neat venue because it's outdoors. It's, I would say, COVID friendly. You know, so, you know, it's a great place, and it's a little warm, but it's going to cool off a little bit, and we'll be in good shape. So,
talked to Coach Griffin this week, as we just chatted with him a little bit ago. The challenge is there. Liberty Hill's in town. Luckily, it's a home game. It's going to feel like, you can say it's going to feel like a road game if you want. Liberty Hill's, 14 miles down the road?
Yeah.
They're going to have a big crowd. Hopefully Georgetown has a big crowd.
Yeah.
But it's a challenge as we get ready for district play. But that was the point from the get-go. 2 6A schools, Liberty Hill, which is a challenging 5A school.
Yeah.
Nothing easy getting ready for district play when you face off against Cedar Park first week.
So, I was watching Snoop's mixtape of Liberty Hill. And you know what it reminded me of? Gunter football in their first state title run a few years back. Smash mouth, hard nose, run you over football, and I think they were running a slot T, and it was so hard to keep up where the ball was going, and then occasionally they'd throw a couple of passes in there. But their defense, you know, so watching that, it reminded me of Gunter. I'll be curious to see if anybody has that same thought, but at any rate, it's Battle of Highway 29. It's going to be a rivalry once they get in our district because Liberty Hill is growing so fast, just like Georgetown, growing up. And I've heard talk that there's possibly another high school coming to Liberty Hill, and I don't know what that's going to do to their classification. But if they keep going, they could be 6A here overnight because it's just everybody's moving out. There's so many people moving to Central Texas area, all over Texas because we opened up so quick after COVID. So it's just a population explosion.
And it's my belief Eastview, Georgetown, and Liberty Hill should all be in the same district.
Yeah.
And build that local.
Right.
You can say a crosstown rivalry between Georgetown and Eastview.
Yeah.
You can say a local down the street rivalry with Liberty Hill.
Yeah. And
what fun! What you get good crowds away and at home. It's a 15-20-minute drive to go and watch the kids, and so
Leander, Cedar Park.
Oh yeah.
You know, all the kind of some of these Williamson County's local teams, and it makes it great for the parents because the travel's not very far. But yeah, hats off to the coaching staff. I always give the edge to our coaching staff, who I think is second to none. And we saw how they made adjustments on the fly at the Coppers Cove game, but hats off to them for scheduling 2 6A opponents, and then also Liberty Hill and having the foresight to know they're going to be in district soon. And just a good challenge non-district run before we get ready for district. So
Friday night we'll be live, 6:30 pregame, about 6:30, 7 o'clock kick. Yep. A memorial for 9/11. The Georgetown G on the helmet will be an American flag design. I got to see it the other night. It's got to be neat. And so it's Military Appreciation Night. And so just a fun night coming up in a big game to give these guys one more run at prepping for district play. But I think, like you said, the preparation and the adjustments and everything that this coaching staff does is just impressive to watch. The kids respond to it.
Yeah.
The challenge is accepted by them, and they know and trust in those coaches and that staff to prepare them and adjust on the fly when things go different. And so it'll be a challenge Friday night against a good Liberty Hill team, but one that you heard Coach Griffin talk about. Hey, we've been doing a block of Liberty Hill every week for the first 4 weeks.
They're ready.
This isn't, hey, we came in Monday and put it together.
Yeah.
They've been working on this to prepare for something that is totally different.
Right.
But a lot of pressure on a defense to see something different and respond to it, but yet to an offense to go, we're going to do our part to keep you on the bench and give you a rest to face off against a challenging opponent.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun to see how this now experienced, team responds Friday night. We talked a lot about the inexperience, but I think they have proven us, just like the offensive lineman told us, we were out to prove to everybody we've got this. And I'm enjoying what I'm seeing so far. Also, before we go, I just want to say Saturday, folks, if you have an opportunity, go somewhere and be a part of a memorial. From the fire service side of things, we lost 343 New York City firefighters. It was the largest rescue mission in history. They rescued 20,000 people from those towers before those towers came down. Some of their bodies were never found.
The ultimate sacrifice.
Now, over the last 20 years, we've also lost firefighters because they were on the pile trying to recover their lost brothers. So they've died from cancer and things like that. So many more have died since 9/11. So there's a lot of memorials going on around Central Texas. If you could, please don't forget. We always said, never forget.
I spent some time in New York a few years later with one of my favorite, George is his first name, and I'll leave it at that. A firefighter that was working, part of FDNY, was working at a different station the day of the towers. He was in a station right next to it, so he was one of the first ones in. They happened to get out. His other buddies from the station he normally works at were second in, and they were all lost. And we spent time through the memorial with George firsthand, being walked through that, and the power of hearing firsthand what George went through. The fact that he shared that with us, I will never ever forget. And so it is an opportunity to remember those firemen, those police officers, and those people that lost their lives on that day, that horrible day. But an opportunity to be grateful for what we do have, and the men and women in uniform that protect us each and every day on the home front, and are out there saving lives and serving our country in many various ways. And so we are appreciative. More than that, we're appreciative of our sponsors that make this possible. Because of all that we get to enjoy. But most importantly, TXB, it stands for Texas Born. We're big city, open country, and everything in between. We have Texas values, the same values that we built our brand around: authenticity, hospitality, and integrity. Welcome to our home. TXB, we are Texas Born. Texas Born Convenience Market. We thank them for being sponsors of the Georgetown Eagle Coaches Show. It'll get bigger and better as we go. We'll have more than about 12 hours to put it out on tweets and send the word. And we'll be back with them in 2 weeks for the next Coaches Show. But join us Friday night, 6:30 pregame, 7 o'clock kick. Myself, Kelly DeVoll, Dave England, will be back on the sidelines because I'll remember the microphone. And so we'll have it in full go. The camera's running again. We've got everything working. And so we'll have it ready to go for a big game against Liberty Hill. For Dave England, for Kelly DeVoll, thanks to Coach Griffin, Reg McConnell, to Jerry Phillips, Brady Olsen. We just enjoy being out here. And we'll see you again in 2 weeks for the Georgetown Eagle Coaches Show live here on SHN. Have a good night.